Hey guys, Xeonexis here,
New
and today we're going
objective.
to be talking about the most epic battle of my life probably, but there will be more. Alright, so this is a battle between a rank 17 versus a rank 19. So this is the last battle before I actually entered rank 18, which I did on stream, alright? So I started with a 3 barracks opening and then a standard gold infantry training at the same time gold infantry scout boost. So I want to get as much advantage as I can, which is why I'm going to spam gold boosts on this game. So as you can see, the enemy actually did a pretty good job securing half of the containers of the map. The only mistake he did here was not building a shipyard, alright? So that's it. After building my shipyard and getting my Cayman out, I decided to scout his base and look at what he is doing. He has still HQ2, at least 5 supply centers, 2 power plants, and a barracks and an assault vehicle factory. So I normally count the supply centers because when an enemy usually have 5 supply centers, that's when they proceed to go HQ level 3. So it was at this point where I discovered that he still did not build any shipyard, and I'm guessing it's because of his poor construction yard initial placement. So yeah, I abused that and had my Caymans move across the map and collect as many supply containers as I can. So this gave me a very good advantage on the early game. So there I noticed that he started building a shipyard and finally a platform. So I collected the supply container in front of the shipyard. A big mistake here was letting my Cayman stay there. I should have moved it instead and collected more supply containers. And here comes my other Cayman trying to secure most of the remaining supply containers on the sea. While doing so, I am also upgrading to headquarters level 3, getting myself additional supply centers and upgrading my avian factory to level 2 as soon as possible because I want to start getting air dominance and I don't want Vertex bullying me or harassing me. At the same time, I'm letting my Caymans mine off certain parts of the map so the enemy will be discouraged to actually go there. So it's actually a mind game, right? Like you really don't need to spam a lot of mines. You just need to spam a certain amount of mines so that the enemies will think, oh, this guy is probably going to just play passive on the sea or he is not going to make any aggressive plays. So that's what mines usually indicate. It's when players want to play defensive on the sea or ignore the sea completely. So I scout his base, I see an airfield, I see an avia factory level 2, and basically an anti-air defense. So there we see the first vertex getting out. So yeah, in terms of getting air units out, I think I'm at an advantage. It's because I have two hawks out and he has one vertex out. So here I immediately placed my units. I know that I am still at the advantage because I am way ahead and his vertex are slowly kiting them in. So here you can see me try and maneuver my hawks to at least snipe or destroy one of his vertex, but unfortunately it fails. But still I managed to get as much map control as I can and control the top of the hill. So here I do a little bit of scouting and the vertex actually overextends and decides to kill himself. So that's what really happened there. But my goal right now here is I'm looking at the map and I see that the enemy is weak in this area right here. He has no platforms, which means he can be very vulnerable to alligators. And that's the reason why I'm producing myself some gators, alright? At the same time, I'm scouting this area looking for deltas and fortunately there are none or except for one. I tried to snipe the airfield but I failed so because I pulled out too early and that resulted in me losing in hawks. So that was a big mistake for me right there. I should never have done that. At the same time, while I'm producing naval, I'm also producing my units on the ground. All right. So I see that the enemy is trying to build some vertex. So there's a big chance that he has no ground units. So I try to get that information, and unfortunately, the enemy actually has Zeus. So he has 4 Zeus and I have 4 Jaguars, and I try to engage, but unfortunately, my Zeus or my Jaguars barely did any damage to his Zeus. Like, look at that, and that's even a gold attack boost. So basically, I was thinking, okay, this is going to be very hard to engage on the ground. It's because my Jags are barely damaging his Zeus, and that's going to be very bad for me. So I either need a lot of jaguars or I need myself some chameleon. So here I just end up hoping that maybe for some reason I outnumber his Zeus. So here I try to make some sort of play by sacrificing a bit of my hawks to destroy the enemy bunker, because it seems like the only player I have right here is to use my grenadiers to destroy his Zeus. So here I sacrificed all of my hawks just to destroy two bunkers, and I decide to attack forward using my grenadiers and a bunch of jaguars. And now he has like 5 Zeus, and if you look at that, my army just gets instantly obliterated. Like, look at that. Yeah. So there, that's when I really realized that land engagement for this guy is gonna be impossible. I even got my army wiped out. So if this guy recognized that and decides to attack my base, I would have been finished. Alright? So here, a mistake I made here is my Gator got scouted. Like, this Gator was too far forward. I should have placed him a wee bit to the right. So this caused the enemy to actually scout my Gator, and now they are hunting it with the Vertex. So yeah, one Gator actually manages to hunt down one Vertex, which is a advantage for me. At the same time, I'm still proceeding to make Gators on that area. So there is a huge chance that the enemy is starting to build platforms on that area. So yeah, that is why I'm rushing my Gators to that area. So here, I scout. I noticed that he is building one platform. So I do my best to attack that platform and hopefully retreat my Gator as much as I can. But that would be impossible. It's because forward Vertex managed to wipe it out. And that's when I decide to change direction. So now I look at the base again, and I recognize that the enemy is in headquarters level 4, and he is probably starting to build some source or some torrents, that is. And now I am already at headquarters level 4, so I decide to place my army in this area. I have two purposes here. One, I wanted to try out if I could utilize the choke point and bait his Zeus to be making a mistake there. And number two, I wanted to see if there are enemy infantry in the area, so they won't get notified if my army attacks it. So it's actually an advanced air raid boost, but unfortunately I did not realize that I only have one porcupine there. So I immediately retreat my army because I know that I will not be able to control that area any longer. I tried my best to use my hawks and divert the vertex out of there. Alright, so here you can see my army retreating, but now I have a chameleon on production. At the same time, I almost have enough gators. So the only thing I really need here right now, that chat also told me, is to distract the vertex as much as possible and prevent them from discovering my base. So here we look at the enemy base. He has one platform on the left and probably 3 platforms on the right. So that's my goal. I'm going to abuse that weakness, that he is weak on that area. So yeah, I'm just basing my attack based on that. So now I have a chameleon, and my gators are slowly starting to be in position. So I do a scout, but unfortunately my hawks get intercepted in time and I was not able to get a good vision. So my chameleon activated. I'm pretty sure that the enemy is going to be distracted or threatened by that. But unfortunately, it gets hit by a good amount of Thor. So I retreat and build myself some chameleon again. So I scout in this area and I was right. The enemy built the platforms on the top right but not on the bottom left. So that's when I attack. Naval strike boosts to increase the range and hit the platform even more. And voila, air raid boost because alligators have anti-air. Alright, so this is what I love about alligators. It's about their versatility. They are good versus naval and they are also pretty good against air. So yeah, basically that's it. The goal here is, if I cannot destroy the enemy base, I want to do as much damage as I can. I don't want to engage those platforms, I just want to do damage on the base. At the same time, I want to do is prevent the enemy from closing the entrance, like the bottom left, because there will be more gators entering there. This guy also makes the mistake of letting all of his Zeus get killed. Like, look at that. He just places his Zeus on in the shore, and then they cannot fire back, so they just get instantly wiped out. So here, I destroy the area factory to prevent the enemy from building any more source and vertex, and here, the enemy tries to close the entrance, alright? So I don't want that I'm trying to prevent that from happening. because I need the entrance open so more alligators can come in later for support. And you can see the guy desperately try to destroy my alligators using Thors, but unfortunately I keep them moving so that they are very hard to hit. So here, I recognize that the enemy keeps on building this annoying platform. So instead, I recognize the threat and just destroy the construction yard instead, which is the source of the problem, so that the enemy will not be able to build any more platforms on this area. Still, the guy tries to stop my alligators using Zeus, and now I only have 3 alligators remaining. So I only had one goal in mind, and that is to make sure that the gators, all of the gators, will not die. Alright? So I shoot down one more power plant. At the same time, while I am doing this, I am mobilizing my ground units. Alright? So I try to shoot down his HQ headquarters, which can be a very big paralysis on his part. So now my JCP is standing on the hill, and now additional gators slowly come in and do some damage on the enemy base, destroying the reactors. And at this point, the enemy is already very paralyzed and it's very hard for him to go to the shore. It's because I already have gators well placed there, and this is it. So yeah, the enemy cannot produce any more units. It's because his headquarters got destroyed, and the alligator here is placed very well. It's because the torpedoes cannot target it. And now I simply move in and clean up the base of the enemy. So yeah, if you were on the stream, you can see the nervousness and how epic and intense this battle was. Alright, so to my enemy here, props to you for giving me an epic battle and good game. So also, he's not a salty guy. Alright, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next is over and out.